Headway Intermediate, 4th edition, by John and Liz Sauls, published in copyright, Oxford University Press, 2009. CD2. 5. Tape script 5.1. Things our grandchildren may never see.
Do you ever worry about what the world will be like when our grandchildren grow up?
Hang on. We haven't had our baby yet. I'm not thinking about grandchildren.
I know, but having a baby makes me wonder. What will the world be like when he or she grows up? Well, look at these pictures. Don't they make you worry about what could happen in the future?
OK. Of course, things are going to change a lot in the next 100 years, even in the next 50, but...
I know, and I'm getting worried. Everyone says global warming is a fact nowadays. No one says it may get warmer or it might get warmer anymore. Scientists say that it definitely will get warmer. It's going to be a very different world for our children and grandchildren.
Look, Hannah, it's no good worrying. Not all scientists think the same.
Yes, I know, but most do. Look, it says here over 2,500 climate scientists agree. They say temperatures might rise by up to 4 degrees centigrade before the end of the century. Dan, this is the world our son, or daughter, is going to grow up in.
Hannah, you've got to take it easy. You're having a baby soon, and
I can't help being worried. If the Arctic ice melts, there'll be floods and the polar bears will have nowhere to live. Oh, look at this!
Come on, Hannah. Look, here. It also says humans are clever enough to find solutions. We'll do our bit, and we'll bring up our baby to do the same. Every little helps.
OK, but maybe it won't help. It may be too late already.
Tape script 5.2. What do you think will happen? 1.
Do you think the Earth will continue to get warmer?
Yes, I do. The more I read about it, the more I think it will. A few years ago, I wasn't so sure.
2.
Do you think all the ice will melt at the poles?
Well, I don't think all the ice will melt, but a lot has melted already. Do you know, a new island near Greenland has just appeared. They thought it was part of the mainland, but it was just an ice bridge and it melted. It's called Warming Island. A good name, don't you think?
3.
Do you think polar bears will become extinct?
I think they might. They only live in the Arctic, and I read that the ice there has decreased by 14% since the 1970s.
4.
Do you think more people will travel by train?
Definitely. I think lots more people will choose train travel when they can, especially across Europe. Of course, it won't always be possible to.
5.
Do you think that air travel will be banned to reduce CO2 emissions?
Well, I think it could become much more expensive to travel by air, but I don't think it'll be banned.
6.
Do you think new sources of energy will be found?
I hope so. Some people say nuclear energy is the only answer, but I think this could cause more problems. Actually, I like wind farms. They look amazing, but I know some people hate them.
7.
Do you think there'll be more droughts or more floods in the world?
I don't really know. There might be both droughts and floods. I think parts of London may be flooded. There's already a barrier across the River Thames to stop flooding.
8.
Do you think our lifestyles will have to change?
Definitely. They're already changing. We're told all the time to do things like drive smaller cars, use cleaner petrol and recycle our rubbish. That worries me a lot, the amount of rubbish we make.
Tape script 5.3. Discussing grammar. 1.
Have you decided about your holiday yet?
No, not yet. We've never been to Prague, so we might go there.
2.
Are you going to take an umbrella?
No, I'm not. The forecast says it'll be fine all day.
3.
Why are you making a list?
Because I'm going shopping. Is there anything you want?
4.
Would you like to go out for a drink tonight?
Sorry, I'm working late. How about tomorrow night? I'll call you.
5.
What are you doing Saturday night?
I'm not sure yet. I may go to friends or they may come to me.
6.
Are you enjoying your job more now?
No, I'm not. I'm going to look for another one.
7.
Your team's rubbish. It's 2-0 to United.
Come on, it's only half-time. I think they could still win.
8.
You won't pass your exams next month if you go out every night.
I know. I'll work harder nearer the time, I promise.
Tape script 5.4. World weather warnings. 1. The British Isles.
A prolonged period of heavy rain and thunderstorms will affect parts of the country on Friday and into Saturday. Rainfall could total 20 to 30 millimetres in the south, but there may be up to 60 to 90 millimetres in the north and Scotland. The heavy rain might lead to flooding in some areas.
2. Canada.
High winds following in the path of Hurricane Gloria will head north from the U.S. overnight. They could reach up to 160 kilometers per hour and may cause damage to buildings across northwest Ontario. These winds are going to bring with them high temperatures across the country and thunderstorms in many areas.
3. Hungary.
The country's heat wave is going to continue. Temperatures could rise to more than 40 degrees Celsius by midday tomorrow. Budapest City Council are going to send out teams of workers to distribute 22,000 bottles of drinking water to local people. Meteorologists say that temperatures will continue to rise until the end of the week.
4. Mexico.
Tropical storm Barbara is forming rapidly over the coast and will move towards land. Winds of 110 kilometers an hour are expected, and they could reach the popular tourist destination of Acapulco over the next few days. Hotels and houses may have to be evacuated. Meteorologists say that the winds might even reach hurricane status.
5. South Africa.
For the first time in 25 years, forecasters in Johannesburg are predicting snow. Up to 10 centimetres could fall during the night, and this is causing much excitement throughout the city. SABC News is reporting that some parents are going to take their children to the local parks after midnight to play in the snow. Tambo International Airport may be affected.
Tape script 5.5. 1.
I think it'll be a cold night tonight. Wrap up warm if you go out.
2.
I think I'll get a new computer. I want a laptop this time.
3.
I think I'll do a cookery course. I can't even boil an egg.
4.
I think you'll like the film. It's a great story and really well cast.
5.
I think we'll get to the airport in time, but we'd better get a move on.
6.
I think you'll get the job. You've got all the right qualifications.
Tape script 5.6. 1.
I don't think it'll be a cold night tonight. You won't need to take a jacket.
2.
I don't think I'll get a new computer. It may seem old-fashioned to you, but it's okay for me.
3.
I don't think I'll do a cookery course. I'll get lessons from my mum.
4.
I don't think you'll like the film. It's not really your kind of thing.
5.
I don't think we'll get to the airport in time. There's too much traffic.
6.
I don't think you'll get the job. You're too young and you've got no experience.
Tape script 5.7. Rocket Man.
And I think it's gonna Steve Bennett's ambition was to be a rocket scientist. A few years ago, he almost won a £10 million prize, the X Prize. Now Steve is building a rocket that will take him and 2 passengers up into space. He believes that space tourism is not really that far away.
Space tourism is just about to happen. There are quite a lot of people around the world actually putting a lot of money into space tourism, so it's simply a question of when, not if. You know, just as the internet made billionaires, well, space tourism is going to make trillionaires. And all the big names are at it. You've got Jeff Bezos, he did Amazon.com, he's building his own spaceship. You've got Richard Branson, even he's commissioning somebody to build a spaceship for him. So it really is going to happen.
And what are you intending to take people into space in? What is your rocket?
A rocket that can carry 3 people into space. We're not going into orbit, it's going straight up, straight down. But it will go into space. It'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes of weightlessness. You'll see the blackness of space, the curvature of the Earth, and you really will truly become an astronaut, just like the early American astronauts.
And you're going to be one of the people who goes up, so it's going to be you and 2 space tourists. Have you been up in this exact rocket before, Steve?
No, we're still working on this one. We've launched 16 big rockets to date, but this actual space tourism rocket called Thunderstar, we're still working on it, we're still building it. I was influenced as a small child watching too many episodes of Thunderbirds, I think.
Were you very much struck by the first moon landings as well?
Yep, I was about 5 years old when they landed on the moon. My parents wouldn't let me stay up to watch the actual landing, which is a bit of a shame.
How mean.
Yeah, well, they just didn't get it. Oh, it's marvellous, but they should spend the money on something better kind of attitude.
Lots of young boys will have had exactly that kind of experience themselves, but very few of them will now have a business that is making rockets. Did you always feel that eventually you would get to do it professionally?
I kept it pretty quiet. 10, 15 years ago, you start talking about space tourism and people, they think you're nuts, so you keep that kind of thing to yourself.
Why do we really need to do that, though? I mean, is there actually any necessity to have more humans in space?
Well, that's pretty much where the human race needs to be, you know, in terms of expansion. You know, there's enough resources in space to allow the human race to continue to grow and expand for the next 10,000 years.
What kind of training do you have to do in order to go up in the rocket?
Actually, one of the most important things we do is skydive training. We feel that if you haven't got what it takes to jump out of an airplane with a parachute, you really shouldn't be strapping yourself to the top of a 17-ton rocket.
These 2 other people who've already booked their place on your Thunderstar, do you know who they are?
Absolutely, I've taken the money.
Right.
Well, it's a couple, it's 2 people that want to fly in space, and they came to me a few years ago. And basically they said, Steve, you want to fly in the rocket, here's the money, and they paid me £500,000 for it.
And how often do you consider the possibility that something might go wrong?
I think about it every day, you know. I've built a lot of rockets. Most of them have worked really well, some haven't, and I think about that every day.
Tape script 5.8. Spoken English. 1.
Did your team win?
No, but they played pretty well all the same.
2.
You haven't lost your mobile phone again?
No, I'm pretty sure it's in my bag somewhere.
3.
Do you enjoy skiing?
I do, but I'm pretty hopeless at it.
4.
What do you think of my English?
I think it's pretty good.
Tape script 5.9.
My cause for concern. The thing I'm concerned about at the moment is the influence that video games may have on children. Let me explain why. I've been reading lots of newspaper articles on the subject, and I also have a personal interest. You see, I have a younger brother, Craig. He's 13 years old, and I'm afraid he's becoming a video game addict. Just a few years ago, Craig had many interests. He played football, he was learning judo, he went out on his bike with his friends. He was a happy, fun-loving boy. Now he spends hours every day in front of a screen, in a virtual world, playing virtual games, usually violent ones, and he becomes really angry if our parents tell him to stop. Research shows that today, 40% of family homes have computers, so there is plenty of opportunity for very young children to start using them. And by the age of 7, many have developed an interest in video games. This is not a problem for most of them. However, by their early teens, a small minority have become addicts, playing for at least 30 hours a week. Dr. Mark Griffiths of Nottingham Trent University, an expert in video addiction, finds this figure very worrying. He says that children may become so addicted that they stop doing homework, start playing truant, and even steal money in order to buy the games. I have 2 more concerns. Firstly, I worry that the violence in the games could cause children to become more violent. My brother isn't violent, but he is certainly bad-tempered if he is stopped from playing. Secondly, I worry that sitting without exercise for so long is bad for the health. Craig often plays 5 hours a day, and some days his thumbs are really painful and he can't sleep because he's overexcited. His schoolwork is going from bad to worse. Finally, Dr. Griffiths says that more research is needed, but I don't need to read more research to conclude that video games cause problems. He should come and meet my brother. That's all the evidence he needs.
Tape script 5.10. 1.
Bob and Jan don't get on at all. They disagree about everything.
2.
Money doesn't always lead to happiness.
3.
My aunt says today's kids are all rude and impolite.
4.
Thanks for your advice. It was really helpful. I really appreciate your kindness.
5.
My dad's useless at fixing his computer. I always have to help him.
6.
Please don't misunderstand me. I didn't mean to be unkind. I'm really sorry.
7.
Timmy fell off his bike and hit his head. He was unconscious for a few hours.
8.
What was your wife's reaction when she heard you'd won the lottery?
Tape script 5.11. Changing word stress.
Advertise.
Advertisement.
Imagine.
Imagination.
Prefer.
Preference.
Employer.
Employee.
Tape script 5.12. 1.
The doctors are going to operate on my grandma's knee.
Oh dear!
Don't worry, it's not a serious operation.
2.
Did you explain the homework to Maria?
I did, but I don't think she understood my explanation.
3.
I couldn't find the book I wanted in the library.
Did you ask the librarian? She'll tell you if they have it.
4.
Can I have a copy of that photograph?
Yes, of course. I'm not a great photographer, but this one's okay, isn't it?
It is. Usually I can't stand photos of me.
Tape script 5.13. Arranging to meet.
Mike, it's me, Gary.
Gary, long time no see. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Listen, I'm coming up to town next weekend and I was wondering if we could meet.
Oh dear, I'd love to. But this weekend of all weekends, I am so busy.
Look, you must have some free time.
Yeah, I'll just get my diary. Hang on. OK, shoot.
Right. What are you doing Friday evening?
Friday evening? That's my Spanish class. Our company's going to do a lot of work in Spain, so we're all learning Spanish. But I finish work early on Friday, I could meet you in the afternoon.
No, I'm afraid that's no good. My train doesn't get in until 7 o'clock. Have you got any free time on Saturday?
Let me see. What about Saturday afternoon? I'm having my hair cut in the morning, and then I'm meeting my sister for lunch, but I'm free in the afternoon.
Oh, no, sorry. Saturday afternoon I can't. I've got an appointment with an estate agent. I'm going to look around one of those amazing new flats by the river. Didn't I tell you? I'm changing jobs and moving back to the big city.
Hey, great news, Gary. I knew that small-town life wasn't your thing.
Yeah. So, what about Saturday evening? Is Saturday evening any good?
Sorry, the evening's out for me. I'm going to the theatre with friends. We've had it booked for ages. But, hang on, what time are you leaving on Sunday?
Late morning. I'm getting the 11:55 train.
Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we meet at the station?
Good idea. We could have coffee together.
I've got an even better idea. They do a great full English breakfast at the cafe. Let's meet there for breakfast. Should we say about 10 o'clock?
Sounds good to me. But can you make it 10:30? It is Sunday.
Fine. 10:30 it is. I'll see you then. Bye, Gary. I hope you like the flat.
Fingers crossed. Bye, Mike. See you Sunday.
Tape script 5.14. Music of English. 1.
I was wondering if we could meet.
2.
I could meet you in the afternoon.
3.
What about Saturday afternoon?
4.
Is Saturday evening any good?
5.
Why don't we meet at the station? Let's meet there for breakfast.
6.
Shall we say about 10 o'clock?
7.
Can you make it 10:30?